No. Damn, Jesse, you just like, what are you on the freeway?
Oh, no, close to it. Like, this is supposed to be a residential street, and people drive through here like they're maniacs. So,
Oh, no wonder people are pissed in California sometimes. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Keyboard Warriors presented by TheRepTheWarriors.com. My name is Eddie Law. That's Fred Kirby. That's Jesse Rubakava. And Jesse, if you can introduce our guest for tonight.
yeah, tonight we have a special guest, Mike Afro. I knew I was going to screw up his last name.
Problem.
Afromowitz,
Oh,
uh,
good.
Senior VP of Operations and Communications for Combate America. Welcome, sir. Thank you for giving us some of your time today. Um, starting off with to me, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show. One of the big things that I've noticed is that you guys over at Combate Americas have been growing in leaps and bounds. I mean, what was it? A couple weeks ago, your guys' show was basically went up against Bellator, and you guys really soundly beat Bellator in the ratings. I think you guys did about 583,000 views. Bellator did about 390, 394, something like that. But yet still, I hear a lot of, a lot of journalists and stuff still like kind of mention Combate Americas as like not really a contender for number two. And with the ratings you guys are doing, you guys are definitely number two. So how are you guys looking to change that narrative, seeing as how everybody kind of has it as Bellator is like the perennial number two, and how are you guys changing that narrative?
I think we just stick to doing what we're doing. I mean, we have a real point of difference. And it's I think what we're finding is a very new audience. People that previously weren't, hardcore fans or just weren't fans or weren't watching, MMA, because there was nobody reaching out to them. So we're just continuing to do that, and it's been paying dividends. For whatever reason, I mean, whether we're two, three, or one, four, that's or how we're regarded that way, or not, by a group of journalists. It's not. At the end of the day, the ratings speak for themselves. The viewership speaks for itself. That's the most important thing. Over time, uh, we're still new. We've only been doing this is our what? It's our third full year of live events only. So it's part of it is it's probably because we're newer, and so it's just like anything, things take time. Perception or change of perception. It takes time. So we're very happy with the growth of the product. I mean, even only a year ago we were on a smaller cable network. They were good partners, but just MMA had never been on Univision before. It had never been on Telemundo before. So we've been able to break new ground, and not just speaking to the same audience as the UFC, we're speaking to a whole new audience. So that in itself is very rewarding. But to be able to to deliver real numbers like the last few shows have delivered is just it's not just great for us, but it's great for the sport overall, because this is what's going to help grow the sport is finding new fans. So
Yeah,
that's
I think especially because one of the things we touched on with Andrea Kai when we had her on a couple weeks was the fact that you guys are now getting not just UFC offshoots. You guys are actually getting people like Goyito, who just headlined your last show, guys that are pretty respected and pretty good contenders in their division. Yet they're deciding to leave the UFC and go to like a different company like your guys's. And so my question to you is, moving forward, are you guys looking to just home grow more people, or is it more like, kind of like a Risen or any other, like a Bellator market, where you're going to try to bring more people into the company and kind of grow it that way?
a combination. So we're still looking to find and build homegrown stars like, who you saw, Froggy, who let off the TV card. That's a guy that we found. I mean, Froggy made his pro debut with us. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have a guy like Goyito, who left the UFC on 3 straight wins. So we're looking for a combination of them. There's no one right answer, but those two molds are, those two those two fighters right there, Goyito and Froggy, represent, two different types of fighters that we're looking for.
One of the questions that Fred, one of my co-hosts, Fred, asked Andrea Calle a couple weeks ago, I'm going to re-ask it to you. What is it that you guys are doing to keep the stars that you build? Because like John Castaneda, like, a Froggy, or like even, an Amanda Serrano who just got into your organization and did great for her first fight. How are you guys, keeping these fighters in your organization?
By putting them on a bigger and bigger platform. It's like, any fighter who's, coming up wants to, fight on a big stage. So I think we're doing a good job now providing a big stage for them, because, the fights they're live in the US on, either broadcast or basic cable, or both. In the case of the fight you were at, which it was on broadcast and basic cable, that's just in the US. And then we were live also in Mexico on broadcast. So, between the two alone, not even counting the ESPN LATAM or the in Spain. I mean, between those two platforms, that's 170 plus million homes. If you add the show you were at was live, I think in like close to 300 million, but Univision Deportes, Azteca, and ESPN LATAM. So, putting them on a big platform, giving them real competition. Obviously, you have to be able to pay a star what the star commands. And so if we do all those things, then we're able to keep stars and continue to build them.
Right, Fred, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like, okay, so obviously, with Combates, it seems like you guys are trying to focus heavily on the Latin and Mexican market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering. Obviously, boxing has been huge in Mexico for a long time, and it seems like y'all kind of aren't necessarily too worried about like the UFC and Bellator. I'm kind of wondering, do you guys look at boxing as a competitor as you guys are moving into the Mexican market, and do y'all deal with that like as a real competitor, or are you starting to see a lot more young kids and a lot more interest in the Mexican youth in MMA as opposed to boxing?
That's a good question. Actually, from what has been described to me and what we've seen is a lot of youth, like you say, a lot of Mexican youth are looking at MMA now. I don't think we don't see boxing as a competitor. As a matter of fact, the two can coexist, but our fighters come from a boxing background.
Right.
Some fight both. So it's really two different disciplines, but the two can coexist. And we see more and more Mexican youth turning to MMA. So I think there's still, boxing is still a pastime there, but very, very fast there. I think MMA there in Mexico is like what MMA was here in probably like 2007, 2008, where it was just exploding. And that's the way I see it. That's what's happening there, I think.
Gotcha. Well, okay, and just to piggyback on that a little bit, are you guys looking at boxing gyms for like talent? You know what I'm saying? Or like guys that used to maybe have somewhat of a name in boxing and trying to get them to come over to Combates to kind of get a fresh talent pool with some really good. Because if you get a cat that's got some really good hands that's been boxing for 5 or 10 years, you give them a little bit of takedown defense to get them in the right MMA gym, you could fuck around and have a star on your hand.
Sure. I mean, that's like sort of what, was like when Misha Tate called me, because I know Misha a long time from Strike Force when, I brought her up in Strike Force, and she was, brand new back then. But she called me, one day about Amanda. I said, I'm definitely interested. I mean, I think it's a great fit. I mean, she's a proud Boricua, and she's 5 division world champion. She'd be a great fit for us. So, you take a name like her, or another name boxer who's interested in MMA. We'd love to have them fight.
Exactly. That's what I was kind of thinking. It's almost like that weird thing where if you get the right Mexican boxer with the right type of fame, it's almost like the WWE jive where maybe you'll bring some of those Mexican boxing fans over to MMA with that boxer. So you get a little bit of that rub.
Uh-oh.
You guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were cutting out.
We cut out for a minute. Yeah, I just said if you get the right boxer with the right kind of fame and you bring them over, maybe they can bring some of those boxing fans like Brock Lesnar brings those WWE fans in America type shit.
Sure. Yeah. No, there's definitely an opportunity to bring new fans in that way as well.
Well, I wanted to touch a little bit on your upcoming event that's going to happen in Sacramento. You guys are doing, yet another, so far your co-main and main event already sound like great fights. You have Kyra Batara against Lisbeth Lopez Silvia, and then you've got Chris Avila, who we all remember and know as a protege of Nick and Nate Diaz against Horacio Gutierrez. Two already fights that are going to live up to what you guys, what Campbell is always very proud of is having a high finishing rate in combates. What are you guys, kind of, is this going to be more of a theme moving forward? Because you guys are kind of making this theme of a U.S. versus Mexico. Are you guys looking to do more themed events like this?
Yeah, there's definitely, you're going to see, recurring themes. You're going to see themes, here and there, like say, U.S. versus Mexico, and that just happened because mostly it stemmed from, the fact, I don't know if you remember, but in December, and Elizabeth faced off in Lahala, which is our cage. At the end of the event, and it was announced they were going to fight, and obviously Kira's from the U.S., obviously Elizabeth's from Mexico. So we just kind of rolled out that theme, but starting with that fight, which is the main event. But to answer your question, like we had El Grito in La Jaula, which is Mexican Independence Day last September. We're gonna have that again. Copa Combate, which is the Asian tournament we initiated last November. We're gonna have that again. So you're gonna start to see themes, um, you know, uh, every year, one or more. Estrellas you'll see next year as well. That was the show that Jesse was at in LA. We had part 1 and part 2. So yeah, you'll start seeing themes recur, each year, and then there'll be new themes, as over time.
Right. One more question I have to ask. Do you have one of those Strike Force stories in your back pocket that you haven't talked about? Because we all remember Strike Force very fondly, and a lot of the weird stuff that went on with Strike Force. And I was kind of looking around a little bit. What I did find was that it seemed like you guys were kind of blindsided by the whole, Strike Force being bought out deal.
Yeah.
Any kind of like weird story that happened there on your end?
I have too many of those. I have too many. I have lots of. I could write a book. Maybe
right.
I will someday. I don't know. I don't know. By then, people might have forgotten about Strike Force. But yeah, I have lots of stories.
Well, let me narrow it down. You just mentioned Misha Tate. How was it bringing the women into Strike Force and kind of making that a priority kind of for Strike Force? Because before Strike Force did any women's fight, it was a barren wasteland. So how was that merging that into the kind of MMA sphere?
Well, I think that fighters like Gina Carano and Chris Cyborg kind of inspired this new generation. They were pioneers, so to speak. And after that, there was Ronda, and now you have this whole new crop of fighters like Paige and Rose and Kira and Lisbeth. So those fighters were were real pioneers, and there were even some women before them. But Strikeforce Strikeforce pioneered women's fighting with fighters like Gina, and Cyborg and Misha. Who was like 20 years old when we found her. So it's everything has to start somewhere, and those were the kind of the fighters that set it off, and just really kind of started a whole movement, really.
Eddie, you have a
All
question?
right. No, actually, yeah, I've been waiting for an MMA organization to finally start capitalizing on this U.S. versus Mexico thing. I mean, I'm in Phoenix. We constantly have these, the national soccer teams, right, facing off here, and those crowds are crazy. You can imagine putting that in an MMA type of arena.
Yeah.
I mean, my feeling is you're gonna strike gold. What I like about Lisbeth is that I'm pretty sure I heard she trains with Team Grasso, right?
Yeah, she just moved over there.
Yeah, so she's training with some like high level girls. So Kira's gonna have her hands full, I think, in this fight for sure. But yeah, just real quick on the USA versus Mexico idea, like, and I know you're talking about themes and everything, but in reoccurring wise, I mean, are you expecting this one to do like really good numbers just for the fact that it's USA versus Mexico?
Yeah, I think it's in terms of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you cut out for a second, but in terms of numbers, I think it's an attractive offering. I think that I don't know if it's necessary, just speaking from my own perspective, that it's necessarily going to like dwarf the numbers of the first two shows. But I certainly think that it's a theme that's it's a competitive rivalry. It's the three fights that will be on TV are all USA versus Mexico. So I think it's interesting. It's something I can't recall seeing it in in MMA previously, or just at least not billed that way. There have been fights certainly between Mexican fighters and U.S. fighters, but as a whole show, I don't remember seeing an MMA show built that way. So I think it's definitely something that's it could be intriguing. So it should be interesting. I think it's a really good main event, strong co-main event, and we're finalizing the third fight as well, and then there'll be also at least one more on the undercard. That's Mexico versus USA. So yeah, definitely an intriguing theme. I think it could be interesting to Univision's viewers as well as Azteca Siet's viewers in Mexico.
Listen,
Sure.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I fucking love that theme. Yeah. And the climate for the country right now, it's fucking perfect.
Yeah, right?
You get one of those gringos to wear a "Make America Great Again" hat. It's gonna fucking kill. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I don't know if they should
get out of the fucking building, but you need a Kobe Covington-esque type character to really come in and sell this thing.
Kanye West might wear one of those hats.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, have Kanye make it.
Yo, Kanye got crazy.
Yeah, he could corner somebody.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we already have a big example. Wasn't it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that boxer that had that wall?
Yes.
Broner?
Trucks? Yeah. And he got
no,
not Broner.
Broner pissed off a lot of Mexican people, but no, that was the other dude. Yeah.
And he fought a Mexican. So
yeah, I saw that. Well, one of our fighters actually challenged Broner because he called Mexicans Mexicans. So yeah, he's a little disrespectful, but so was that other fight. I saw on news. I know what you're talking about. I saw a news item about that.
Didn't fucking Adrian Broner's fight suck this weekend?
It wasn't great.
Yeah, that means it sucked.
I actually fell asleep. I wasn't sure it was because it worked or because I had it on.
Yeah, man. Like, he talked a lot before that, and then he didn't deliver. I'll say that much. So anyway,
that's too bad. I don't. Yeah, he he's got an interesting style. I think he just sort of like he wants to be Mayweather, but he doesn't have the as much talent as Mayweather has.
No, 100% agree. All right, anything else, boys?
think that does it.
No. All right, Mike. Appreciate it, man. Any social media, anything you want to throw out there?
No, just follow us, Combate Americas Official on Facebook, at Combate Americas on Twitter and Instagram. Hope everyone will tune in on May 11th, and we're about to announce a card for May 18th as well. So you will be back-to-back weeks again, just like Estrella 1 and 2.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, well, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. You have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right, and yeah, that was Mike Afromowicz. I think it's how you say it. I don't know. I don't even want to try it. Anyway, I actually kind of want to go to that card. I just realized it was in Sacramento, and I went kind of like quiet there for a second because I just want to throw this out there. I had the Cavs Pacers game on, and LeBron hit the game-winning 3. So all you motherfuckers that say this motherfucker ain't clutch, you suck a dick. All right. Anyway,
of course he is. He's from Ohio. Stop it.
No, it just annoys
greatest basketball player of all time.
They just want to hate on this guy for no reason. For no reason. It's stupid.
Well, they're not hating on him for no reason. He's the goddamn GOAT.
Right, but they hate him. I don't know, whatever. No one ever hated Michael Jordan like that, unless you're one of the teams that he fucked over. But whatever. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure a lot of people back in the day hated him.
That's true. They did hate that motherfucker with a passion back in the day.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Well, he didn't. Whatever. He's a fucking winner. Anyway. All right, so again, Combate Americas, May 11th is USA versus Mexico. Chris Abel's in the card. Kira Batata is going to be in that card. Lisbeth Lopez Silva's on the card. Like they got some real good names on that organization now. They're on the come up, and now they'll be doing like the theme thing is smart. I think the UFC did that like they did that a little bit back in the day, right? Sort of like maybe we just put the names of their pay-per-views.
Yeah, but I mean, remember one of the biggest cards that they had was that all heavyweight card. Remember?
Yeah.
And that went over really well. I mean, a lot of people still remember, like I was there live and that thing was awesome. You know, all heavyweights throwing, big old leather at each other, good knockouts. I mean, yeah, these themed things really would work out.
Fucking why don't they do that shit again? You know what I mean? Like, do that again. Fuck. We just throwing shit at the wall at this point. All right. Speaking of heavyweights, heavyweight Grand Prix this weekend, Bellator 198, headlined by Frank Mir against Fedor Emelianenko. This is the third fight in that heavyweight Grand Prix. So far we have, huh?
No, you're right. You're right.
Third, right? Yeah, because the winner so far is Sonnen, Mitrione, and then this weekend we get the third one. So
Sonnen.
Yeah, can you imagine that a bloated up middleweight could win this shit?
Well, no, he's not gonna win because check it out. Chael Sonnen has to fight the winner of this fight. And I hope to God it's Frank Mir, just so we can see that matchup. Frank is going to be fucking huge next to Chael Sonnen.
He's going to be big as fuck right now, too.
If Frank Mir does win this fight, when Frank grabs a hold of Chael and that motherfucking cage door closes, that's when old Chael's going to realize this was a bad idea. Because I'll tell you what, Frank will break his shit, too. Frank ain't going to be fucking about with Chael Sonnen.
Hey, Frank has done that shit. I do want to play. Real quick, on Twitter, our homie at Museman82, to me and Kirby saying, I grew up a Knicks fan hating Jordan and Cheryl Miller's ugly sister, Reggie. That's just disrespectful. All right, Reggie Miller tore you guys' throats out because Greg Anthony, I think it was Greg Anthony, couldn't inbound the ball, right? That's not his fault.
I hated Reggie Miller, too.
I didn't mind him.
Reggie Miller had a very condescending face.
Oh, he was like a skeleton. He's a running skeleton. Anyway, but anyway, so again, this weekend, Fedor, Frank. So you're hoping Frank wins. I don't see anything from I haven't seen anything from Fedor recently that makes me think otherwise. I think Frank's gonna smash him.
Look, man, I think this fight is very easily predictable, right? I mean, they're both old goats at this point.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty easily to predict. Either Frank comes out and gets thunderstruck on the feet, or the fight goes to the ground in which Frank rips something off of Fedor.
Listen,
this is MMA, so Fedor could submit Frank on the ground. Maybe Frank comes out and knocks Fedor out. Anything's possible. But generally speaking, Fedor hits a little harder. His hands are a little faster. Frank has a fucking propensity to get smacked in the face a lot during fights.
Yep.
But I ain't never seen nobody go to the ground with a fresh Frank Mir and live to tell the tale. I could be wrong, but I'm not. Has anybody ever fucked around with Frank on the ground for very long?
No, really.
I mean, maybe Brock Lesnar when he was like beating the piss out of him, but like,
that's about it.
Dog.
Even the first time, I think he got knee barred, and then
he did. No, think about it. He did get knee barred the first time. The second time he pulled exactly. So I mean, if the fight hits the ground, Fedor's competent, but Frank is next level on the ground, and he's just a goddamn horse. If he's in good shape, he's a huge man, a big dude. So Fedor could knock him out on the feet. But I think if he don't knock him out quickly and Frank can drag him to the ground, it's probably going to be, over relatively shortly for Fedor. So I don't know. What do you guys think ends up happening? That's how I think the fight plays out. I don't know which will play out, but
it's kind of one or the other. Right. I mean, I don't see this being a war or a slugfest back and forth. I think it's one or the other. I think obviously every fight stays on the feet and everything, and they probably gonna want to stand for a while. Frank Mir's got an ego on him. He'll try him on the feet for a little bit, but I think as soon as he feels whether or not Fedor has any power, then he'll take that shit to the ground fast. So, but I think it's gonna be like that. They're gonna go back and forth on the feet. Fedor's gonna smack him. And Frank's going to be like, yeah, fuck that shit. Take it to the ground and strangle this dude or take an arm or something. That being said, Fedor's ground game is actually fucking pretty damn good. So if he could just hold out the first round, maybe he could pull up an upset. But who knows? Jesse, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying, like, what would be the betting odds on Fedor submitting Frank Mir?
I don't know.
Dear God, like that would be the most unlikely.
I would bet on that,
right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. In a grappling competition, Fedor ain't got a shot in the dark. But in MMA, where he can knock the holy dog shit out of Frank first, look, man, anybody can get submitted if they can get their fucking jaw broke first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like anybody. Damian Maia could have got subbed out if he gets rocked good enough first. You know what I mean? So now, that being said, it's doubtful, and I'm sure the odds are pretty good, but Fedor can crack, man, and he's a heavyweight. So if he fucking cracks Fedor or Frank, and Frank starts fucking wobbling around on Queer Street, he could damn sure get choked out in that type of state. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Let me catch over here on the YouTube comments real quick. Raider, what up, Raider? John Smith in the house. Joey here early. Gary Costin. Nick Nick Pilecki, what the fuck is up, buddy? Hope you're healing up, buddy. He's alive. He had a bit of an injury there, but he's alive. He's alive.
Like back surgery or something, right?
Yeah, some crazy.
I'd be creeping on Nick's page. I'd be creeping on you, young man, making sure.
But that's the key, right? Young man, what the fuck, Nick? The hell you been doing? Shit. Dude, stop lifting fat chicks. I'm just saying. I'm just playing. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing, but maybe he's a doorman.
I see he's got a new woman. He been goddamn blowing that back out, son. The fuck blew his own back out.
Hey, I take it all back. Respect, sir. Respect. Get yourself one of those belts that the weightlifters use for powerlifting and get back to work, dog. Don't be stopping that shit.
He's a little skinny guy. He's got to work on that back muscle, Jack, before he be putting in that work.
Hey, bro, deadlifts. Start deadlifting. All right. Anyway, John Smith saying, can Frank make weight? That'd be funny.
It's a pretty good question. I mean, I assume he will, but he did look fucking. I actually heard him on Ariel's show say he got up to like 306.
God damn.
Or something like that. He did say that he was at like 270 now, or 258. I think he said 258, 260.
He's at 259, 260 something, depending on hydration. So he's right there.
Yeah. But still, he was fucking ginormous in that first.
Nick, fuck you, Nick. Nick's trying to make bets now. He goes, first of all, he says, I see Frank taking this as a sub, quick and clean. And then he goes, if Fedor's, I'm not agreeing to this shit. Just letting you know ahead of time. If Fedor subs Frank, Eddie and Fred shave the beards. Nope.
Oh well, all shit. My beard's just coming back, Jack. So
no.
I'll take any of the bets you want.
I ain't doing that shit.
It's summer coming time, motherfuckers up in Ohio. Finally, like sunshine in this bitch.
Man, we're up in the 100 plus already here, man. Fuck. You can have some of this shit.
Goddamn frying eggs on the concrete down there.
Fuck yeah, dude. AC in full blast. Raider says, I love Mir doing the ACB commentary. Yeah, he's all right. He's not bad.
I like Mir doing commentary, actually. I do like Mir's commentary. He gets a little pretentious sounding from time to time because he's so fucking smart, but I like him all in all. He's good.
Yeah. I'm gonna laugh. First of all, real quick, I was thinking about it. I'm gonna laugh if Nick was watching this shit with his girlfriend, and we just told him to tear it back out. It's a compliment, okay? We mean no disrespect. I'm just saying. Do your job, Nick. Anyway, all right. So yeah, there's a Bellator this weekend. Well, is Dennis on this card?
There's another big fight on this card. There has to be.
Yeah, but Dylan Dennis is on his card, right?
Oh yeah. Dylan Dennis. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, let's fucking. I want that dude to get his ass whooped. Fuck that.
Well, that's not gonna happen. They're gonna give him a fucking can of tomatoes, which they should. They should. Yeah, let him get a submission. Let him get some good submission win. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, dude, but I don't know. They're gonna try and build this motherfucker. Not build him.
What they don't want is another fucking Aaron Pico situation.
That is exactly what I think.
Let this motherfucker, let him hit a fucking omoplata or some shit like that. Let us get a reason to give a shit.
Yeah. All right. So on this card, I think it's coming event Emmanuel Sanchez against Sam Cecilia. This featherweight bout. Welterweights Neiman Gracie against Javier Torres. Gerald Harris against Rafael Lovato Jr. And then Dylan Dennis against Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's okay, dude. What the fuck? Kyle Walker's record is 2-4-0.
There you go. Sounds about right.
Listen,
for the record, Bellator. If you ever need a warm body, you can call Daddy Fred up. CM Punk wouldn't give me nothing, but I'll take 5-10 stacks for a quick beating.
Yeah, look, I would take that fight too. Fuck it.
Dylan Dennis can't really fight. He acts like such a tough guy. He ain't really gonna beat you up. He gonna take you down and submit you. I'll take a fucking submission for 5 stacks all day long.
Dude, they're giving him someone with no submission defense. This guy's last 2 fights were sub losses. October 15th, 2016, by the way, submission rear naked choke in the first round. And then July 1st, 2017, Bravo choke in the first round. This guy's going to get subbed hard.
I love it, though. If I'm that guy, I love it. I'm collecting a I would come out swinging for the fences. I'd either knock him the fuck out or he'd take me down, choke me out, and I'd cash my check, and I'd be fucking whores and buying shots of tequila at the bar. That's me on TV, baby.
There you go. Nick says she is not here. You're all good. All right, cool. All right, we can say a bunch of shit now. Anyway,
it's on the internet, Nick. She can find it. Y'all good boys, just talk that shit up. I be killing it. You understand me?
You know what it is like when a girl
you're live on YouTube, motherfucker.
like when you're dating a chick, right? Like she thinks she knows you, but then she like fucks up and like hears like for example, sees the guys you really hang out with and finds out what you're really like. Like
sees you run your homeboys candidly for 1 minute. And you're like, then I was pissing on that bitch.
She's gonna be like, who is this motherfucker? Like, oh, Nick, you're gonna get found out, son. You're gonna get found out. What's it say right here? I'm one of the fuck. Okay, hey, I don't know why we're being told this, but Museman says, telling me and Kirby says, telling us, tell Jeffrey to stop it. Ja Rule tweeted out, I'm one of the most influential rappers of all time.
Who, Ja Rule?
Yeah, Ja Rule just said that.
I don't know about that. I mean,
no, he's not. This not even possible.
he was all right in the 90s for a little while, but I don't know about one of the most influential rappers of all time, Jack.
But he went to fucking private school. I can't respect that. And then you try to be all thug and shit. And they tweeted us earlier saying Fred nailed it. I won't count Mir out, but if Fedor puts those hands on him early, hashtag sneaking strawberries. Yeah. So
exactly.
All right. So Dylan Dennis on his card against the guy that can't fucking stop a submission for his life. But yeah, good for you. Hope you're getting paid. And then this last weekend, man. So Kevin Lee missed his weight by a pound. I think it's forgivable, especially with the performance that he put on. You could kind of sweep that under the rug a little bit. You know what I mean? But to get fucking stanky leg the way he did, and then he stanky legged his ass right to a takedown. Like, if you're telling me that's not wrestler instinct, I don't know what the fuck is. And then he finished that fight. Fred, I like Kevin Lee next for a title shot over Poirier or Eddie Alvarez or really anybody other than a healthy Tony Ferguson. What are you thinking?
I mean, yeah, but like, look, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Tony or Connor will fight Khabib next. That's the way that's going to happen. More than likely, it'll be Connor. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Let's all stop being silly here. There's a reason that the UFC hasn't struck Connor with lightning. It's probably going to be Connor or Khabib, unless somebody gets hurt or something.
Yeah.
At which case, all bets are off. We all know how that works. We'll fuck around and have, goddamn it, Dustin fighting Lord knows who for the belt if motherfuckers start getting. But all things being equal, we'll probably get Conor Khabib next. Tony's on the shelf for a while. I'll say this. I was super fucking impressed with Kevin Lee's performance.
Oh, yeah.
He looked really fucking good, other than getting fucking thunder kicked in the dome. And you know what? In a weird way, that almost made his performance more impressive. Because
exactly.
Because he took a big shot and still got it together and won the fight completely impressively.
I mean, how many times have we seen Edson Barboza wheel kick somebody and put him, like, knock him dead? Like, a handful of times. And
just the what's the word? Centrifugal force.
Yeah.
that it takes to generate that movement is a lot. So when you're good at it and you're strong, it's just a strong blow to throw. It's like an overhand right with your leg, Jack. You know what I mean? Like,
it's ridiculous.
So yeah, even what was that, the third or fourth round?
Fifth round at the end. Oh no, when he got hit.
Yeah.
It was
the fourth round. So I knew it was late in the fight.
It was what?
I thought it was a third.
I thought it was a fourth. Whenever it was.
Point is, it was later in the fight, and it still hurt like a motherfucker because it's a really, really hard strike. So extremely impressive performance for Kevin Lee. I don't think he'll get the title shot next, but if not, it's gotta be Eddie Alvarez or Poirier, right? If they don't match them up together in some fucking weird thing, you know what I mean?
Okay, so first of all, just on that part alone, this motherfucker coming out, Eddie Alvarez coming out talking shit about Khabib, not a real champion, a bunch of other shit, and I'm just sitting here going like, rematch Poirier, and you can talk shit. If you remember, he got that whack ass fucking like win over Dustin Poirier, you know, that bullshit. You need to clear that up, dude. Especially because Poirier's a contender.
I don't listen. I'm gonna tell you right now why I don't blame Eddie Alvarez for doing that. Because right now, lightweight is the wild, wild west, and closed mouths don't get fed, Jack. Right now is the time to speak up and start a beef. Because if ain't nobody else, if you know what I mean? Look, if Conor comes back, we all know what time it is. Yeah. Conor's going to get that fight. Or if Tony can somehow come back, but Tony's hurt, so that's a done data. We know he ain't coming back for a solid 6 to 9 months to a year for sure. So it's kind of open season, right?
Yeah.
You can make an argument for Kevin Lee. You can make an argument for Dustin Poirier. You can make an argument for Eddie Alvarez. So any one of those three pricks should probably speak up and start talking that shit, because whoever does it the best, if Conor doesn't get that fight, they're going to, you know what I mean? Because none of them have a guaranteed spot. They all can make some kind of weirdy-beardy argument in which they deserve it. So it's kind of whoever gets that fucking ball rolling the best. That's why I don't blame Eddie Alvarez. I don't think he's going to be the winner, quite frankly. If I had to pick those dudes in a lineup, I would probably say Kevin Lee, then Dustin Poirier, then Eddie Alvarez. That's just my personal preference on it. But I think most of us probably feel that way. I don't think Eddie's at the top of any of those lists. So
Eddie's nowhere near those lists. But here's the thing about Kevin Lee. First of all, you got to think about Conor McGregor. His legal team should be working a deal ASAP as fuck and try to figure that shit out. Because his first hearing or whatever day back in court is like June 14th, something like that, June 16th, something like that, in that area, right? And you need time for a camp and all that. Not that he can't train during that shit, but still. So I mean, I think Kevin Lee's gonna be the backup plan with Conor McGregor being like the main target for that Khabib fight. I wouldn't mind Kevin Lee against Khabib, and I think that'd be a fucking good fight, man, for real.
But we also got to think that Khabib is also going to be out till what is it? Late June, right?
Did he injure something?
No, because of Ramadan.
Oh shit, I forgot, dude. This is all mixed up. Lightweight's a great division, but everything's fucking hung up right now.
Well, but it's not a bad thing, right?
No.
At least we have a definitive champion. We have a couple guys that could fight, which we have. I think Poirier, Kevin Lee, and Alvarez. You could round robin those three, put them, each in a match up until we get, a clearance in, the Conor McGregor situation, and we find out if he's even going to fight this year, because, it could be that he's trying to wait till December, and then Khabib wants to fight right after Ramadan, right? He wants to get right in there. So, the time frame might not line up for that fight to happen. We still need a contender, so let's get this going, right?
Shit, why not, man? All right. Other fights on that card? It's been fucking a week. Crazy week. What else was on that card?
Well, listen, the
Frankie
goddamn
Edgar.
yeah. Can I let me rant a little bit about this for a minute.
Do it. Oh yeah, okay, do it. I saw your fucking Instagram.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, Jack.
I'm gonna mute myself while you go.
I've been low key thinking this for a while, and I'll admit that part of it is biased, and I haven't really liked Frankie Edgar since he beat BJ Penn that first time a month of Sundays ago. But all that being said, I think that the idea of Frankie Edgar being this super exciting fighter is a goddamn myth. It's overblown. Look, he's a fantastic fighter. He's amazing. He's great. First ballot Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. But he's not really the most exciting fighter in the world, man. Most of his fights are meh. And this fight against Cub Swanson was meh as fuck. Like, he did have the Gray Maynard fights. Yeah. And then I think, Benson Henderson, his fights are speckled. His career is speckled with great fights. But it is fucking littered with fucking 40-degree day fights. I mean, come on, man. Who the fuck loved that Cub Swanson versus Frankie Edgar fight that night? Like Homeboy said before, I was fucking nodding out during that fight, Jack. It was just fucking boring, man. I mean, don't give me no bullshit about striking or you just wasn't understanding. Man, fuck you. I've been watching fights for a long time. I know what the fuck I'm looking at. And I know when something's just dragging on, man. There wasn't that feeling in the air like at any moment this fight can be over. I fucking just felt like that fight was going to go 15 minutes and bigger and shit. It did just what I thought it would do.
Right. I think we all felt it was going to go 5 rounds. I don't think anyone was going to get a finish in that one. Certainly not Cub Swanson, to be honest with you. But
do you think that this is more of a condition of Frankie Edgar now being later in his career and his fights really looking so much different than they did initially? Because initially, a lot more striking, a lot more movement. And now if you look at his fights, he gets hurt a lot more. He kind of slows down a lot more. His movements is not as fast as it used to be. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like before, who could stop Frank Edgar from taking him down?
Nobody.
Not many people.
Except for Benson Henderson.
Yeah, he upkicked him in the face. And ever since then, it's kind of not been going Frank Edgar's way. But I think it's more a symptom of Frank Edgar kind of winding down his career, more so than he's never had exciting fights, because he had great fights, great exciting fights where he would do a lot. But if you notice his last, I say 3 years of fighting has been more him slowing down, not being that Frank Edgar that we saw before. That's my
What great exciting fights does he have though? Take the Gray Maynard fights away, and what I'm not saying great. He's beat some great fighters.
The BJ Penn fights were good. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much any fight that he had at 155 was exciting and great. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Are you guys fucking pull his fucking record up? You guys go fuck yourselves. Those Gray Maynard fights were good. Those Gray Maynard fights were great. The Benson Henderson fights were good. After that, you guys go fuck yourselves. I don't really remember, but I'm telling you right now, a couple of those fights were shitty. Did some 5th round finishes, some Mighty Mouse shit going on. You guys kiss my ass.
All right, I got the record. Okay,
take me home.
All right. So let's start off and goddamn.
Start with the Gray Maynards fight. That's what it was, or the BJ Penn fights, because then he defended.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the BJ Penn fights. UFC 112, April 2010,
Abu Dhabi. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, UFC 112 decision win over BJ Penn, and then
he fucking didn't win that fight. He didn't win that goddamn fight.
You don't think so?
That was bullshit. He won the second one, but it was boring. But he clearly won it.
All right, so he won the second one in August that same year. Then UFC 125, he that draw against Gray Maynard.
That was fucking good. That was the best fight of his career. That was a great fight. The only one he had. Then
in October 2011, he knocked out Gray Maynard in the 4th round.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was a that was a great fight too. Both of those fucking fights were great.
Okay, all right. Now we go to the 3 losses in a row. Benson Henderson, both losses by decision. Solid fights, I thought. Jose Aldo, Jose Aldo at UFC 156 lost that one by decision.
That was a great fight. Don't.
What was great? Because Frankie got thunder kicked in the leg 8,000 times. It was not a great fight. He took a beating. That was not a great fight.
No, look, and okay, and then he went in like a 5-fight win streak. Charles Oliveira, BJ Penn, Cub Swanson, Uriah Faber, and the knockout of Chad Mendez.
That was
pretty sick. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, but it was a quick knockout.
Yeah.
I mean,
then he lost to Jose Aldo at 200. Then beats Jeremy Stevens by decision. TKOs Yair Rodriguez in the second round. To be fair, he took him down and fucked him up on the ground.
that was good. That was to be fair, that was all right. But while we're being fair, Yair Rodriguez was fucking greener than what's in my shelves
100%.
right now.
Oh, 100%. Then he gets knocked out by Brian Ortega this last March. And then just this win over Cub Swanson in a pretty quick turnaround by decision. So I think it's more like Jesse says, like his career's winding down, so he don't want to take as much damage.
Excitement level.
Excitement level.
Excitement level. I'm not talking about the wins. The wins are good.
Okay.
His career is solid, but the excitement level of the fights, I don't think.
No, BS. Because Fred, you had to amend your. Oh no, that performance was good. Oh no, that performance was good. Oh no, wait.
Twice. I gave you the Gray Maynard ones going in. The only other one was the Yair Rodriguez, but he's fucking green as shit. And a knockout against Chad Mendez is not a fucking exciting fight, a back and forth. When I think of exciting fighters, I think of Vanderlei Silva, man. I think of fucking Gaethje. These are fucking exciting fighters where I'm fucking holding my breath. Man, Frankie Edgar's not that dude. Quite frankly, I knew Frankie was on this card going into the fucking card. Was any of you pricks that excited to watch Frankie fight? Do you think you're going to see some crazy triangle choke or some big knockout? Yeah, he knocked out Chad Mendez, but stop it. We all know that was a fucking lightning strike in with Frankie. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not great. I'm just saying he's not exciting. Y'all know what time it is. When a certain guy, Israel Alessandro, when certain guys are on the card, man, we all get that little juice. And don't get me wrong, I know there's some Frankie Edgar fans out there going, fuck you, man. I love when Frankie fights. I get it. No. I know. But generally speaking, stop it.
I agree with you. Over the last couple years, Frankie Edgar fights have become something that you don't look forward to. All right? I agree with you. But I think you cannot say that his fight career, has never been exciting. He had exciting fights. He's had an exciting career. It's just, if you look at it, I think if Eddie goes back and looks at about three years ago, that's where like his losing streak started, and he went down in weight, and it just hasn't been great after that.
Okay, listen, we'll get off of it right after this, but I'm going to give you the exact same metaphor that I did on my rant. That's like me fucking a couple really hot broads in high school, and then fucking nothing but hog mollies through college, and then being like, I fucked a whole bunch of sexy bitches while I was in school. No, you didn't. You had a couple fucking decent years in high school, and after that, you was fucking slop donkeys.
Yeah, well. Real quick. Apparently, my co-host of the Heel Hook Show says he agrees with you.
Sorry, man. It's true.
He goes. Edgar's career has had a few great fights and a few good ones. Rest boring as fuck. Look, man, I mean, now that I think of it, the exciting level hasn't been great, but he's been in some crazy.
Great career, though, no doubt. Make no mistake about it. I'm not the excitement level is not legitimacy of wins. On that level, he's a goddamn fucking animal, no doubt about it.
Okay, then John Smith in the YouTube comment says, "How many times?" Oh, he goes, "They held him back in his prime. It took like 5 years and just put him on hold. The UFC fucked him. A lot of rematches in those." And then how many times did he win and Dana said he's number one and then changed his mind? A lot. And that might have to do with the excitement level, to be honest with you. Yeah. And then he's been in wars. No, I agree. I'm with you. Like his career's been great. Excitement level. Early years of the UFC, what are you going to do? Plus, he's an undersized guy at 155. I don't think he wanted to stand with all those guys either.
That's true. But that's not my fault.
100%. So, anyway.
Talking about this last card, are you going to touch on the Leslie Smith?
Oh, Leslie Smith? No, I was going to touch on the other one real quick. And then we'll talk about Leslie Smith because that's important. You guys see that Ricky Simon, Merab Devashlish, whatever the fuck?
Yeah. Let's not just touch on that. Let's talk about it. Stick.
So, did anyone else? I thought he was out.
No, happened. Are you guys fucking
dude? Your legs will fucking kick like that when you go out too. Like that shit happens.
Wait, Fred. Wait.
Yeah.
Now let's break it down. Number one, when he tried for the takedown, he even says that he got a stinger. Now, How many times has somebody knocked themselves out and then immediately woken up and going, "Oh no, I was here the whole time." Number two, Eddie can tell you, and any jiu-jitsu guy can tell you, when you get choked, and the as soon as they release the choke, you come right back, unless you go completely out. He didn't go all the way out, but he went out enough to where once the choke was released, he came back alive and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." Then when he had to get up, what happened? He was way too wobbly to even get up. Go ahead, Fred.
Like, real quick before Fred goes, I don't know how you just let someone mount you. That happened because he was out. He got mounted because he was gone. That's it.
Oh, all righty then.
Go ahead.
A couple things here, boys. I don't give a fuck what he was. They let that final bell ring, and when that happens, the fight is over. I don't give a shit if he's laying down there with a tumor. The fight's over. We go to the goddamn judge's scorecard. That's the end of that. Fucking B, y'all all, everybody watching, I don't give a shit how many times you've been in jiu-jitsu class. You can all suck my dick. No, you do not do the Liu Kang bicycle kick while you're asleep. I've seen all kinds of dickheads get choked unconscious. And you know how many fucking feet have been doing that during that time? Fucking zero. Ever. The cute cocksucker was bicycling his feet to let everybody know I'm not fucking out. I don't understand what we're talking about. He was not doing that for shits and gigs. He wasn't doing it because it was causing him physical pain. The cute little Russian prick was clearly windmilling his legs so that we all know he's not a fucking sleep. Because when you go to sleep, you can't windmill your goddamn peeps.
Wait. What about when, what was it? Who was the one? Holly Holm, when she got choked out.
Remember? Yeah. Nisha got her.
How many punches she threw before she went completely out? She was out, still throwing punches, and then she went completely out where she went limp. Then it took a few seconds for her to wake back up. The same thing happened in this fight, Fred. It is exactly what happened.
It fucking did. When did he go limp and those goddamn legs stopped moving?
You didn't see when his legs, he was bicycling hard, and then they kind of slowed down to a little crawl. They were slowed down, and then he came back up. You can't tell me he didn't go to sleep. He went to sleep, dude.
Your legs don't crawl while you sleep, Jesus.
Hey, Eddie, explain this.
Look, they can't, dude. It's happened before, though.
If you get put out, damn it, if you get... So let me get this straight. If I just choke one of y'all to death, those little peepers just keep moving? They just
wait.
You're just dead? You sleep?
It has happened. It's not happening every single time.
Get the fuck out of here, it happened.
Oh, get the fuck out.
We have the perfect video example. Do you remember a few months ago, that girl that was in that Russian promotion that got choked, where her coach had to jump over the cage to save her because the referee did not stop that fight? Do you remember this? Where she was, her feet were moving, her arms were moving, and everybody was like, "Oh, she's still alive." No, she's not. She was out cold, yet her body was freaking going into a convulsion because she was dying. That happens, Fred. I'll send you the link after the show.
That was like WWE or something in Russia. I don't trust those sneaky Russians. Nothing. That was fucking propaganda TV, fake news.
Hey, she didn't like Hulk up like Hulk Hogan or anything as the crowd's cheering and get back up. Like, she was down for a while, dude.
Man, okay, look. Either way, the goddamn ref dropped the ball and he let the fucking bell ring. At that point, the fight's over. I mean, we don't have to debate that, do we? Like, the fight's over.
Right. And that right there, allegedly, because we didn't get to see it on TV, actually, if you noticed it, the ref apparently waved the fight off.
He did.
So
when?
You guys didn't get to see that? It was in one of the replays. They showed it. It was the overhead view. And they were showing it in the replays, trying to see, what was it, Dahashvili's consciousness. But look at John McCarthy's tweets. He tweeted
fuck John McCarthy.
Wait. The guy that was there when they wrote the rules for MMA, he said, "The belt does not save you."
You know what? That's cute. Newsflash, Big John, you're not fucking Moses. And I got some news for you cocksmokers. The bell does save you, motherfucker. It saved Sugar Sean O'Malley. They did an interview with that motherfucker on his back because he couldn't stand up after the fight.
Couldn't stand up.
So, I mean, what are we talking about? This is horse shit. I've seen all kinds of guys that could barely move after the fight, but as long as that fucking bell rings, they let their corner come in and scrape them off the mat. This is fucking bullshit. He was not. He was not fine.
Let me just say, first of all, Fred, I get it. You're arguing for Ray Longo. Cash that check that he sent you to just argue.
No, I know what it is. You guys are arguing because that other prick's named Lopez. That's what it is. That's fucking what it is right now. I already know what the fuck's going on here. But
hey, Barry Rodriguez get choked out like that. I'm fighting that.
I would love to agree with you, but I think the rules are so shady. It's stupid because, as Ray Longo was saying, it wasn't the ref that was in the cage that made the final decision. It was one of the outside refs that made the final decision. God, I forget who he said it was, but one of the refs on the outside was the one that was looking at a monitor, went in and informed the other ref, and then he's the one that made the decision, not the ref inside the octagon. That is more of the point that I think we should all be talking about, where how is it that an outside ref has that much authority over what the ref inside the cage has?
Oh, you talking Mark Goddard?
Yeah, Mark Goddard. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't even know that was possible.
No, wait, like they were about to Bruce Buffer came in and went in and asked for the cards, I think. And Mark Goddard was like, nah, fuck that. Like that was over. You know, he waved it off.
All right. So, all right. Take away all this speculative shit.
Sure.
Who do we think won that fight? How do we judge it? We've all been watching fights for a long time. Do we think you're saved by the bell? Do we not? I'm gonna tell you right now, and all bullshit and banter aside, I would give the fight to the Russian because I think he won the first 2 rounds. He was in deep shit at the end, but we've seen a lot of fights like this, and I'm of the you know, he made it to the final bell. You gotta, if you hear that fucking clack clack clack, that you got 10 seconds left and it's the third round. You squeeze tighter. Make him look. If when Lopez got up, that motherfucker's head would have dropped and he would have died. If he wouldn't have tried to move a little bit, I mean, even if I don't care how fucked up he is, if he's trying to move, then he's still somewhat with it, and he made it to the final bell. If when you get up, that motherfucker's snoring and they gotta come like give him the smelling sauce, then maybe it's like, okay, bro, he's dead. But I don't think he was that far gone. How many
times did you see it, Fred? How many times did you see it?
I mean, shit, just the initial go around.
Look. Go back and watch. As soon as the fight ends, when he lets him go, this is where I'm saying it, and especially Eddie can corroborate this. When the choke is like, you don't even have to be all the way out, but you lose consciousness for a split second, they let go, you come right back. It's not like those good chokes where like they hold it on for a couple seconds and you're done for a few minutes.
I get what you're saying, but I think we're talking more about the rules, right?
Well, and for me, then that means your choke wasn't tight enough, bruh. If you let it go and I come to like that, you didn't really put me out, bro. If you put me, I've seen motherfuckers get put to sleep. If you put somebody to snoozy by time, you gotta peel them off of you and get up, and they have to be woken. Come on, y'all know what I'm saying. If you get put out, you don't wake up right after. Not if you're fucking out. It takes a minute.
Not necessarily, because look at some of those knockout punches that we've seen, where a guy gets rocked, gets put down, and then wakes right back up. It's the same thing. We're talking about inches here.
Fuck you, Jesse. Don't start murkying the waters and involving knockouts. We're talking about getting choked out. If you get choked out good enough, you don't just pop right back up. Goddamn it.
Oh, so now it's about getting choked out good enough. It's not even about getting choked out because look, Fred, I get what you're saying. If we were to say the rule is the bell rang and that's it, we go to the scorecards because the bell rang.
Is that you're right? Goddamn rule. What the fuck? That is the fucking cocksucking rule.
No, listen to this. There is no rule. It's open to interpretation. So the way they interpreted the rule at that time was, well, we have instant replay. The guy that was on the outside saw that he was out. Well, I'm changing it to he didn't make it to the bell. Vis-a-vis, this is the result we get.
Wait a minute. So the actual rule is that there is no rule. It's up for interpretation.
Yeah, because I think John McCarthy explained it where there is no rule of whether you can be saved by the bell or not. And
Okay.
they're taking this. Wait, listen. They're taking this from the old boxing thing where you cannot be saved by the bell. If you're getting beat up, you're getting knocked down, you cannot be saved by the bell. This is where they get it from. There is no explicit rule of the bell, the horn ends the round. And remember, we had this situation happen not too long ago where the horn ended. And then the referee took a couple seconds to step in. And they were like, well, the horn sounded. No, it's the referee who's the one that ends the round, not the horn.
In between rounds, I would give it to him because you got to come back out and fight again. But for me, for my personal opinion, this is not boxing. We share some similarities, but we're not boxing. For my money, if you make it to that final horn, the fight's over and we're going to the scorecards. That's what I would like to see. I think you can be saved by the bell. The final bell, not the bell in between rounds, because you still got to get your monkey ass up and come out and fight again. So if in between round 2 and 3, you're laying down there fucked, then yeah, the fight can get called off. If you make it to that final bell, I think we should give you the liberty of you know what I mean? Let your corner come in there and peel you off the mat and you know, do the damn thing.
You're right. I agree with you, Fred, but it's like,
but that's not the rule.
Yeah, exactly. It's so muddy. It took two referees that are supposed to know the rules and the commission to figure this out, and they still screwed it up, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
real quick. First of all, I just saw. First of all, John Smith in the comments losing his mind talking about like what is he pretty much it seems like he agrees with Kirby. And they said so that dude would always hold the knee breaker would be okay. Keep cranking, that'll help here. Yeah, look. He's talking about the crazy Brazilian cat, huh? Pajares. Yeah, Pajares. Yeah. So I mean that's kind of danger in that kind of I guess argument. But Nick, real quick, Nick Pilecki saying if that's the case, then Anderson beat Bisping at the end of that fucking round. He took it all the way back to that.
Oh my God,
that's a good point though.
Yeah, very good point. That's a good point.
Was fucking out, dog, out. Like fucking slept.
Yeah, that's a good fucking point. And then Ash sending me this on DM talking about Mark Goddard. Mark Goddard actually tweeted out saying, for the last time, this is actually Mark Goddard tweeting this. For the last time, I wasn't the ref. I never stopped, altered, called off, or changed anything. I can't. The actual ref of the fight made the call, not me. My opinion meant nothing. Bruce Buffer then asked for cards. I point out it's over and we can't, and that's it. For fuck's sake, how hard is that to understand? Yeah, so he didn't actually do anything to officially change the fight or to mess with it. But he did. He just pointed at the Bruce Buffer like, no, the ref waved it off. We're done.
Well, then
so, it's a mess. This whole thing's a fucking mess.
It is a mess. He has to talk to Ray Longo because if you listen to Ray Longo on Anik and Florian's podcast, he's pissed, and he said that Goddard is the one that talked to him and said that he's the one that made this decision. So, this is where I'm getting the information.
We should, if it's not a rule, then we do need to make it an official rule that you're saved by the bell in the third round. If you make it to that goddamn bell, I don't give a fuck what's going on. When the bell dings, you got to get the fuck off that other motherfucker. And they made it to the final bell, even if it's survival mode.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen actually in a handful of fights where someone's in a rear naked or an arm bar and they just hold on.
Yeah, sure.
They just wait it out.
If you win in the fight and this cute cocksucker just got lucky at the last moment to bend that arm a little, Jack. I mean, long as I don't give a shit if my shit's broke. Long as that fucking bell rings, I get out of this round, I win.
Dudes do it in tournaments. You know how many times we're in the sidelines yelling at teammates like, just fucking hang on, motherfucker, 5 seconds.
You got it. You got it. Right.
You got points. You're good. So that kind of shit. So I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. Plus, this whole like non-unified rules thing is fucking shit up too.
Right, right. It needs to be an official rule.
Yeah, needs to be something officially made. All right. And then, of course, Leslie Smith. I did not get the fight because Aspen Ladd showed up overweight. Real quick, on that point alone, there's a lot of conspiracy theory about she missed it on purpose because she wanted to be much bigger than Leslie Smith or something like that, right? I guess she thought Leslie would still take the fight. Well, Leslie did not take the fight, and I think she was planning to, and she tried to renegotiate her deal with the UFC. And it didn't go well. According to her, she got cut. I haven't seen anything official yet, but according to her, she got cut. So it kind of backfired on her. Fred, do you think that has everything, or at least something to do with that Project Spearhead thing, that Fighters Union she's trying to get going off the ground?
I wish I had that classic Kenny Chesney song pulled up right now. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold 'em. Listen, Jack, if your fucking first name's Connor or your last name's McGregor, you can get away with pulling a stunt like that. Hell, maybe even if your last name's Bisping and your first name is Mike, you might be able to pull some shit like that. But when your first name is Leslie and your last name is Smith, you don't come and negotiate with the UFC about shit. You take your show money, you smile, you ask them to rebook the fight. And look, the Project Spearhead shit didn't help. I don't know if that was the deciding factor. Because look, man, let's be honest. She's not a needle mover. She doesn't have a great record. So, I mean, when you add all that in with the fact that she's trying to throw together a little organization that might not be all that great for the organization, what do you got? A fucking losing combination.
Yeah. It might have been just like the straw that broke the camel's back, and it's like now we have an excuse to get rid of her piece. Oh, you cut me because of Spearhead. No, we cut you because you don't want to fight. You know?
Yeah, and then like I said, man, at the end of the day, I mean, what she's doing is admirable and it's a good thing. But how many people are really tuning in to see Leslie Smith? I mean, let's just be fucking honest.
And you make a really good point. The fact that it's not a heavy hit and like a heavy name like a Conor McGregor, it takes something like that to make something like that happen. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard going for her to get that off the ground, especially now. Now that she's not in the UFC, according to her. You know, you're not even on that platform anymore. So, Jesse.
I think did you mention why actually Aspen Ladd gave her excuse on why she missed weight?
Real quick, Ash Lamprey said tinfoil hat theory. They paid Aspen Ladd to miss weight.
She said she was on her period. Leslie Smith is that's what she said.
Yeah. Her snatch was bleeding. That's why she was retaining.
Then Leslie Smith said she doesn't mind blood on her face, but not when it's coming from someone else's vagina. So that is why she did not take that fight. Which, hey, I mean, I could agree with that, but I think this sends a weird signal, doesn't it, you guys? Because when have we ever heard of the UFC saying, you know what, we're in negotiations with you, so we're just gonna pay you your show and win money, and we're gonna count this as a fight? Because that's what she's saying. They told her they're counting this as a fight since they paid her both, and that was the last part of your contract. So bye. And that kind of it kind of makes it to where it's obviously that it was because she's been trying to get this Project Spearhead off the ground. It doesn't make it like because she didn't take the fight, because they don't pay people win and show money if you don't take a fight. They just go, well, here's your show money. We'll rebook you in a couple months, maybe.
I mean, but do they really fucking care? What does them getting rid of her really make or break Project Spearhead one way or the other? Like, does her being in the UFC help that case for that thing? You know what I'm saying? I don't really.
Because the thing that Project Spearhead's trying to do is get all the UFC fighters, or at least I think it's 150 of them, to sign their cards so that they can take this as a group to the commission of some sorts that will make a ruling on whether they are independent contractors or whether they are employees. After they get that ruling, then they can form either a union or an association, and then they can move forward and negotiate better stuff for their fighters, which they want, better insurance, better pay, all this other stuff. Of course, that, I think we all agree a lot of the fighters would benefit from. But when someone is no longer a part of the UFC, they can no longer be part of that. So now it's going to be whether Leslie Smith, I think, in my opinion, is going to be willing to still go that extra mile for something she's not going to benefit from. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to hurt the people that are involved in this so that they're not going to be able to benefit from it. So why would you go after it?
I mean, maybe, man. I think at the end of the day, Leslie Smith isn't really the fucking shining Trojan that's going to bring down the UFC.
But that's the thing. They're not trying to bring down the UFC.
No, but I'm saying I don't think she's the one that's going to get this deal done, period. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I just don't think this is the one with her.
Right.
I don't think the UFC gives that much of a shit about this. Look, I'll put it to you like this: if her name was Holly Holm, I don't think they care about that, and I think they keep her.
Yeah.
I just don't think she puts asses in seats. She don't win fights, so they're like, whatever. I don't. This don't help none, but I don't think this was the driving force in letting her go.
No, I think the situation you're talking about is more of a, what is it, Cowboy and GSP, where they started that association, right? And then out of nowhere, Uncle Dana flew down to go see Cowboy, gave him a nice new contract with some check in with some cash in an envelope, and then Cowboy's like, oh well, they just put on a shirt on me, and then I went out there to support my friends, and then out of nowhere, GSP has this awesome fight, for a title, Like that's exactly what you're saying. Like they were able to break that apart because of that, because it's a name that there were name stars that they wanted to keep, so they catered to them.
Fair enough. Yeah, basically, I guess that's And with this one, they're just like, yeah, bitch, here, we'll write you off and just go on and get rid of you, Jack, and we'll get rid of this whole problem altogether.
All right, boys.
Her payment was $62,000. That was the end of her contract. $62,000.
But we've heard worse, haven't we?
62,000.
The worst in the world.
Yeah, I mean that'll keep you floating for a while, so chill. I mean, obviously before taxes, but anyway.
Right.
All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on for that one?
Nope.
Right. Those are the big stories.
Last check on the headlines here. Nick Newell gets Contender Series nod from Dana White. Now one step away from UFC, so he's gonna get a Tuesday night Contender Series. Win one, get in the UFC. So, he's probably gonna get in.
Cool beans. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm all right with that. It's gonna be really sad when the two-arm motherfucker beats his ass, and we're all like, ooh, it was tough to watch. But hey, man, hey, props for wanting to get in there. I'll tell you that much. What else we got in the headlines? Nothing crazy, nothing really that great. So, all right. So do it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, Rookie, did you guys see the Kevin Lee Rogan podcast?
I've seen most of it. Yeah.
It actually gave a little bit of insight into Kevin Lee. I don't dislike him a whole lot right now because you know what I mean. Like it showed a different side to him. So I actually kind of like. So whatever. I highly recommend it. Especially if you hate Kevin Lee. If you hate Kevin Lee, definitely watch that shit. And then see if you still hate him. All right, because I kind of don't. I mean, I was annoyed by him before. Now I kind of get where he's pointing. Where he's coming from on some of the stupid shit he says. All right. What's up?
No. Two things real quick.
Sure.
Number one, want to thank everybody that reached out to all of us over last week. I know we missed out last week, but life is crazy. So I want to tell everybody I appreciate it, especially Mr. Joe Tremendous, who right away as he saw our tweets go out today on it. So thank you, Joe Tremendous. And of course, I can't leave you guys without a question.
Right.
Ah, yes.
Mr. Fred and Mr. Eddie, if I put you on a desert island and you could only take one album and one movie for the rest of your life to enjoy and listen to, what would you take? And Fred, I'll make it a little bit easier for you. I'll even give you a TV series if you want.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that was my...
Which, by the way, The Wire is badass. I am on episode 13. It is amazing.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, I hate to be so fucking predictably cliche, but The Wire is everything to me, so I would definitely take The Wire. I could watch that over and over again. One album would be fucking hard, man, because I like so many genres of music. It would be really hard.
All right, so let me give you mine. I said for my movie would be Tombstone because I love that movie. It's awesome. It's got everything. And my album would actually be Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon. I would just love the flow of that album. And you could just, hang out, watch the stars, just enjoy that album. It's an awesome album.
Interesting. The Wire and probably a Temptations greatest hit CD.
Ooh, that'd be good.
You know what I mean? There's some old classic shit that would probably, I mean, it's one album for all time, man. So probably some old Temptation shit.
Damn, dude. Yeah, this is hard to do. It's hard to say. I would like one of the original the Chronic album, Dre's.
Mm-hmm.
I can bump that shit all day today. That shit holds out. And then I fucking love that one. I still play these days all the time. And then a movie, man, that's the hard part because I have an awful taste in movies, man. Not awful, but it's not great either. Like if I know, like it was one of those things where if I mentioned a movie, Andy would tell me I'm a fucking idiot for watching it. He's like, "Oh, that's shite, mate." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, dude, really?"
In all fairness, he did that to every cinematic experience that every human ever had.
Yeah. But he actually then he'd be like, "Oh, you need to watch, Old Boy or Battle Royale or whatever." I actually, I like probably one of my favorite movies ever is Creed. I'd probably watch that. Just take that with me. I mean,
What was really good was Casino.
Casino was so good.
Casino's a really good movie. A lot of the really great movies, though, for me, are movies that have those weird turns.
Yeah.
So what the problem with those movies is once you've watched it once, you know what I mean? Like you can't once you get the big turn at the end, it doesn't really have a whole lot of replay value.
Yeah, that you said that, and all I could think of was Get Out by Jordan Peele.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like
so fucking nuts.
But they don't have a lot of like Pulp Fiction is a movie that I could watch again and again because it's like it's kind of surprising, but there's so much happening.
But like The Sixth Sense wouldn't work.
Right, exactly. You only get that payoff one good time, and then it's not really the same.
Unless you get Amnesia, 50 First Dates, and you start watching that over and over again, annoy everybody else around you. You know what? Real quick, since Eddie said he has really bad taste in movies, I will recommend A Quiet Place. Go watch that. That is a great movie.
Everyone keeps fucking telling me to go, and so I'm actually planning to go this weekend to see that shit. So
yeah,
I recommend it. Again, not a horror movie, but it's a great movie.
Definitely. All right. Real quick, your latest Gym City podcast there, Fred. When it come out today?
Oh yeah. What were you? Yeah, this morning. We recorded last night. We talked Trump bombing Syria. We had the crazy Waffle House shooting. And did you guys see the shit that happened in Toronto with the van?
Dude, what the fuck? So a guy gets on the sidewalk and just goes for blocks?
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, listen, he was running people over and he killed 10 people he killed. Like, you can get hit by a car and get fucked up but still live. That motherfucker must have been flying down the way to just kill 10 people. So we didn't really want to beat a dead horse and talk about gun control. So we actually talked a little bit about mental health, man.
Yeah.
Because whether it's the shooter in Vegas, this crazy fucking Toronto, or this Waffle House prick, one thing that they all got in common is they're fucking nuts, man.
Yep.
None of these people are playing with a full deck, and it's a crazy big issue, and it's hard to deal with. But at a certain point, somebody's got to start having these discussions, man. What are we going to do with these all these mentally ill people that end up doing these fucking crazy things, man?
Yeah, so that's a trip. And that dude in Toronto will trip me the fuck out when the cops finally caught up to him. He kept doing this shit right here. Like they were like he was trying to get him to shoot him. He was like, shoot me in the head, and the cop's like, nah, fuck that, get down.
Bro, what's crazy is, listen, this is crazy, man. I don't know exactly what it's called. I have to go back and look it up, but you guys can Google it and you'll find it out. But this guy, the dude that did that shit in Toronto, he is terrifying, and I'll tell you why. I found this out after we recorded. I found this out this morning, actually. The cute little prick was a part of this online thing. So he's like basically a terrorist, but with no religion tied. You understand? So like online, there's a bunch of these fuckers, and they have a name. I just can't think of it right now, so I don't want to give out the wrong one. Okay. But essentially, their motto is to just kill normal people because they're so ostracized and fucked. And they're trying to do it in these really weird ways, like acid is something that they're suggesting, acid attacks on large crowds. Dude, they were even suggesting breaking in to condom dispensers and poking pin-sized holes in all the condoms and putting them back in there just to fuck with the normies. There's a large group of people out there, mostly I would assume mentally ill, that feel extremely ostracized from everybody out there that's quote unquote having good normal lives. And these fuckers are kind of gathering online. And long story short, the dude that was in that van was a part of this group of these people. And now they're putting him on this pedestal. Like he did this one for us, for all of us that are, that dude was known as a forced celibate, quote unquote. He wasn't getting no pussy. Listen, man, it's funny, but it's real shit. That'll fuck with a young
100%.
man and guys out there that aren't getting trim and they feel ostracized. I am in no way trying to justify it, but
Right.
I'm just saying that's what leads to these kind of things, man. So this is uniquely scary what's going on with these people, man. And I'm just kind of figuring out about it too, but this was not a religious thing. I thought they were kind of just saying that for the spin, but it wasn't. It's worse than that. It's just it's like, think of like Columbine on steroids and organized.
That's fucking crazy.
I'm halfway through your show, Fred, and I was at that part. I know we're running long, but I gotta tell you, man, I dealt with a lot of people that are in the mentally need help. And one of the things that you were talking about was that, what's up with, programs, hospitals. And I'll tell you what, all that has been made into for profit. Mm-hmm. Those people don't have money. Yep. The only money they get is from the government, as in Social Security or something like that. And nobody's willing to help them for the amount of money they get a month. I mean, it's nothing. It's like $600-700 a month.
That's ridiculous.
Yep, that's true.
People, which is why where I live here in California, I have one of the highest populations of homeless people, and they all need that help. So, I'm telling you guys, like the show that Fred did, I'm halfway through it, but that conversation is very important. And we've talked about it before here. I always try to bring it up. Mental health is so important, and people don't understand how important it is. But like we always say, man, reach out to somebody, say hello, give them a hug. You don't know how much that impacts people in their daily life when they don't have it.
It's true, man. That's true. So this podcast was good, man. And also we always try to end on a better note. We're always talking about some serious, deep, sad shit in the beginning, but we clown the shit out of Taylor Swift for attempting to
dude, fuck that song.
Earth, Wind and Fire's September.
Fuck that song. Fuck that song. Fuck that. Fuck Taylor Swift. I don't give a shit. Yeah, oh my god. Bad. I listened to it once. I got so angry. I was like, this bitch is murdering a classic. We only
play about 35 seconds of it on the podcast. We're like, whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, fuck all that. All right. Real quick, in the YouTube comments, shout out to everyone that tuned in today. Raider Jab, Joey Tremendous, Gary Costin was here. Gary Costin, what up?
Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, Black Spider-Man. In fact, he's still here. He says Midnight Marauders and The Wire, or Pulp Fiction for him. And then Ash Lamprey coming in saying Tupac, Me Against the World, and The Dark Knight or Californication, the TV series.
Oh,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
We got some good ones. Good ones.
All right, y'all. You can follow Kirby over at Kirby_MMA. You can follow Jesse at Sport1983. I'm at Elo31, and of course the page is at Keyboard MMA. Y'all the shit. Make sure you hit up redwarriors.com, get some gear, spicypros.com, and of course all the shows are over at Keyboard Warriors MMA on iTunes and keyboardwarriorsmma.com. All right, motherfuckers, catch you guys next week. Y'all have a good week, good weekend. Enjoy Bellator. And for myself and my brothers here, good night and good night, Wiltshire.